What is up, guys? It is ajmarkle here, and welcome back to If Disney Anime Classics were released today, number 21. Today, Holly and I, and by the way, Holly's my girlfriend, we are going to be talking about the 1995 release classic of Pocahontas, a film that was directed by Mike Gabriel and Eric Goldberg, and of course, Gabriel, who made his directorial debut with The Rescuers Down Under. We will do that sequel in the future. He decided to work into the film, even though the project was originally with The Lion King, released in '94, and Pocahontas, despite it being released a year after Lion King, still got a decent success in the box office, making $346.1 million and a $55 million budget. So anyway, Holly, can you tell me a little more about Pocahontas before we get to the plot line?
Okay, so Pocahontas is an actual person years ago, but the story, of course, as well, more different than Disney's, like the typical historical story events and then Disney-fying it. I will say, though, before we actually discuss talking about Pocahontas, there might be some sensitive themes in it because it's one of those historical theme movies that might have a little bit of sensitive subjects in it.
Yeah, sadly though, because of the cultural, historical output that's in this film, this will be very sensitive. And also, there has been incidents like that in history, but it's not fully accurate from Disney's, I guess you might say, representation of it, but it still brings up some interesting stuff that has happened. So without further ado, let's get to the 95 classic of Pocahontas. So the story goes back to 1607, which is 1609 was an interesting year, by the way, for history. 1607, the Susan Constant travels from London to the New World, carrying settlers from the jolly good country of England. And the settlers there, including John Smith, one of the main characters, are looking for gold, fighting what they call Indians. Might have been a slur. If it is, I apologize in advance. And try to settle in new land. On the other side, the Powhatan tribe in Virginia, which is going to be near Jamestown, we are looking at the chief whose daughter, Pocahontas, is supposed to be like arranged. It was an arranged thing to like arranged marriage to another Indian, or basically tribe. But Pocahontas is more free-spirited, and she fears that her arranged partner or significant other would not respect that. So she went to Grandmother Willow, which is the spiritual talking willow tree, but unfortunately, that same willow tree alerted her of the arriving English, and there's more on the English side. Not all good, though.
Yeah, pretty much. The voyages later, Governor Ratcliffe, who only seeks wealth and status, has Jamestown built in a wooded clearing and immediately has the crewmen dig for gold. John departs to explore the wilderness and encounters Pocahontas. At first, she hides her ability to speak English, but Grandmother Willow lets her know that there is nothing to be afraid of.
Which is a good thing, by the way, because it's also important to realize that sometimes we meet someone new. It's not always okay to be like too quiet, but it's also okay to be cautious, which is what Pocahontas did. And even though they bonded, not everything goes well. There ended up a little bit of a squabble between the English settlers and the tribe, and both sides say don't even meet that person again. Both sides, including the chief of the Indians and the leader of the English. So yeah, it's now Holly and I have talked about this before in our calls, and she has kind of reminded me that's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet type of theme. So.
Yeah, I figured it's sort of a Romeo and Juliet Shakespearean technique, like similar to how the 9K use Shakespearean things. This sounds so familiar to Romeo and Juliet in a way because of how there's two groups, one falls for one another, other groups meh. So it's quite you can probably spot it, especially Shakespearean fans. Comment down below if you've actually noticed that theme.
Yeah, it will be very cool to hear your perspective on some of the films we have discussed. But it's also important to realize that in this case, Pocahontas and John actually tried to unite the settlers in the tribe, and they go to the grandmother willow tree. Unfortunately, as they share a little kiss, both sides go haywire. Pocahontas' best friend got betrayed Pocahontas and told the chief, obviously, about their relationship, which led to the spying of her arranged partner, Cocolum, who attacked John Smith. But a settler on the English side, known as Thomas, who John previously had saved, decided to defend John Smith and fired and killed him. John, however, ordered Thomas to leave before the tribesmen arrived, and John was captured. This resulted in both sides almost going into battle, with John Smith ready to be executed. Unfortunately, though, that was what the English needed, and they decided to begin the war.
Yeah, pretty much. After reaching Jamestown, Thomas warns the settler of John's capture. Ratcliffe then rallies his men to battle, using this as an excuse to annihilate the tribe and find their non-existent gold.
Honey, just to clarify, it's annihilate, but that's okay.
Thank you.
To clarify, guys, Holly and I are reading off the Wikipedia of some of the stuff that's going on, and that's how we're starting to get some of the information. Just to clarify, we've done that for pretty much a lot of the episodes. And now, while Wikipedia is not the best source when it comes to certain subjects, when it comes to movies, it's a good resource. So anyway, to continue on, John Smith is getting ready to be executed by Pocahontas' tribe when Pocahontas got in between the settlers and the tribe. Now, I say tribe a lot because I gotta be careful with some of the wording because YouTube. So, Holly, can you explain a little bit more what Pocahontas tried to do in this case?
Okay, so basically before Pocahontas tried to save John, she went over to see Grandmother Willow, and she had this dream about the arrow, which comes from John's compass, and it's the same spinning arrow from her dream, which leads to her destiny. So what she does is that she comes in between her dad and her dad about to execute John, and she holds on to John and finally convinces him to end the fighting between the two groups and spare John's lives. Both sides stand down, and John is released. Unmoved, though, of course, Ratcliffe orders his men to attack anyway, but they refuse. Ratcliffe fires his musket at Powhatan, but John takes the shot to save him, which does talk about how it seems like after Pocahontas' speech, I think it's sort of that, they're not so bad after all. Each one is like, they can be one.
The other side of the coin, however, is John Smith's sacrifice. And both sides did eventually unite the tribe and the English settlers. And for Governor Ratcliffe, he ends up getting turned on against by his own settlers, and he will eventually get sent back to England. However, while John survived and was getting nursed back to help, it was determined that he had to go back to England to fully heal, which results in him getting ready to go back to his ship or boat back to England.
Yeah, and then John asks Pocahontas to come with him, but she declines, saying that she has to stay with her tribe to help keep the peace, and that she'll never forget him. So John leaves without Pocahontas, but with Powhatan's blessing to return any time in the future. At the end, Pocahontas stands atop a cliff, watching the ship carrying John depart.
And that is the end of Pocahontas. Yeah, now there is a sequel, and I actually want to say this is a bit of a sad thing. Ajmarkle doesn't get justice right away. It takes a while because he's a manipulator. Yeah, spoiler on that.
Yeah.
But that is Pocahontas. If you guys like this, let us know. But before we continue on with it, I want to discuss the rating with Holly real quick. There was kidnapping. There was a attempted war, a shooting, and someone getting hurt. With everything that's happened, including the cultural battles between the two groups, what can you expect the rating to be if it was released today?
Well, considering the fact that this is actually relatable to real life history itself, like it's quite clear that it wouldn't have been so nice back then. Even the Disney one did add in some moments, but I would give it a PG-13.
Yeah, I mean, while there wasn't anything out of the sort, there was a little sensuality between Pocahontas and John, and there was that too, but that is common in some Disney romance, including that Pocahontas, I think, would be technically considered a Disney princess. But you gotta take into consideration there was a war between two settlers and cultural differences between them that resulted in the rating that Holly and I agree on. So, in the end, guys, that's Pocahontas. If you guys enjoyed this, like, share, and subscribe. Check the playlist for the last 20 episodes, and we will let you know in the future of the next episode. Spoiler alert, it's another 90s classic that we're going to do next. Anyway, I'm going to say this. God bless you all. Don't forget it.
Be unique and be creative. Have a great day, everyone.